Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Tonight, you will be joining Rotting Ricky and Asylum Amy as they play host to some of the true movers and shakers in the indie horror scene. So lock your doors, check under the bed, and get comfortable, because here we go.
And I'm Sylvia Saska, and we're the Saska Sisters, and this is Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies!
Good evening, Junkies. Running Ricky, how are you?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Doing good, you guys. Episode 84 of the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Welcome back. If you're new, thank you for joining us. If you're a regular junkie, we love you. Make sure you guys hop in the comments. We have a special guest tonight, Spooky Madison, writer, director, producer, actress. We're going to bring her on in just a few minutes, but first, we're going to get into some junkie news. Where do you want to start, Rick? How about that we have available for pre-sale issue number 16 of the Indie Horror Junkie magazine. Look at that. I love this cover. This is our good buddy Cody Newton. We had him on the show about 2 episodes ago. This is for his upcoming indie horror feature film, 259. Very excited to see this film come out. So congratulations to the cast and crew of 259. The cover is beautiful, and we can't wait for you guys to read all about it. We have some great articles inside. Bagman Rising, Ed Kemper, Tahoe Joe 3, Mark Hamer's Replicator. Very excited about that. Sorority of the Damned, Freelancer, Sugarcane, and our indie horror hottie, Caitlin Newberry. So make sure you guys are heading over to indiehorrorjunkie.com and getting your pre-orders in between now and the 12th. You're going to get a free PDF of any back issue with your purchase of the physical copy. And then we're going to drop this puppy on May the 13th. So definitely head over, check it out, grab your back issues, support the Junkies and support all these incredible indie artists that are in the magazine. We have our film festivals open. I say festivals because, yes, there are 2, and it's very busy in the junkie land because we are watching movies like crazy over here. So we have our Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest that is going to be held again at MegaCon Orlando. Going to be next March. So those submissions are open on Film Freeway. Make sure that you're getting those in. If you have an indie horror feature film, short film, we want to see them. The Junkies want to watch them. We have an incredible group of judges, just so you guys know. We're all filmmakers and writers and directors and producers, and we have all kinds of backgrounds, just huge horror fans that are going to, people in the industry that care and are watching these, and we're going to give you guys feedback. So that's something that we're really proud of, is giving those filmmakers feedback. You take the time to submit, you spend the money to submit. We're going to let you know what we thought about your film. So head over to indiehorrorjunkie.com on Film Freeway and definitely submit there. But don't forget to also to head over to Film Freeway and check out the Scaricon Film Festival, which is going to be on September the 5th through 7th in Syracuse, New York. We're very excited to team up with everyone at Scaricon. Tons of familiar faces there. We've already started our guest announcements. The party is popping. Who do we got? Rick. We got some new announcements this past week.
Well, these are the ones we've already been announced.
Love her. You know her. Dave Sheridan, Daniel Roebuck, Kane Hodder, the wonderful Phil Falcone. We have Jesse Posey and Tyler Posey, you guys. So these are just a few of the announcements. We're just getting started. So make sure you head over to the socials for Scaricon and Scaricon Film Festival to stay up to date with all of the latest news of what's happening there. we're going to be there, the Junkies. So you definitely got to come and hang out with us, watch some feature films, hang out with the celebs. It's going to be a party. So again, Film Freeway, make sure, same deal, indie horror shorts, indie horror features, submit them, come to New York. We've got New York, we've got Orlando. Who knows what's happening next? I don't know, but we're going to be there. So, and make sure you head to their website and grab tickets for the ScareCon event itself. So once you purchase your ticket for ScareCon, you get access to the entire convention and the film festival. So it's one ticket for everything. So definitely make sure you book your room, get your ticket, the whole shebang. And what else do we got going on?
Well, you're also going to be in New Jersey, aren't you?
I'll be in New Jersey. Yep. Already packed because I'm a freak like that. So that's going to be May 17th and 18th at Showboat in Atlantic City. If you guys are in the area, please come say hello. I'm going to have all the issues of the magazine. I'm going to have posters. I'm going to have t-shirts. I'm going to have Blu-rays. And just come hang out and say hello. I want to see you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I get lots of familiar faces there. All of our friends from Stream are going to be there. It's just going to be a great weekend. I have not been to Atlantic City yet, so I heard it's a lot of fun. I'll let you guys know.
And last but not least, what Blu-ray might you have there?
I'm going to have some copies of The Clock.
Oh.
There it is. Yep, might see some people in there that you know. So I think I have limited that I can pack, but I think I shoved about 6 to 8 of them in there. So limited copies of those. So if you want one, swing by and grab it while you can. Speaking of The Clock, we're also available on the Tarot Card app. So definitely head over and support our friends at Tarot Cards and check out The Clock trading cards. We've had several come out. This is just DeAndre and myself, but there are several others as well. So lots of fun. I love that app. It's so much fun. It's such a creative way to support the films. So just a lot of fun right there. But I'm ready to bring on our guest, you guys. Spooky is doing her thing in the indie horror scene. She's very busy. She's got a lot going on, and she's not stopping anytime soon. She's got projects that are coming up. She's got projects that she's working on. We're going to show a trailer right now for Rabbit Season, which has already made its run in film festivals. So it's a fun little clip. We're going to check that out and then bring Spooky on.
There you go.
Here I thought rabbits were supposed to be faster than that. Run.
There we go. Welcome to the show, Spooky. Such a fun little clip from Rabbit Season. Is that available for anybody to watch anywhere right now on YouTube, or where can they find that? Because it really is just a fun watch.
It is.
Yeah, thanks. It's on YouTube now. We weren't really planning on doing anything other than like a fest run, so we just released it on YouTube, and it's there on Final Goal Films.
Awesome.
Perfect. So check that out, you guys. But thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. We know you're busy. We know you have a lot going on. Let's just dive right into things. I want to talk about your upcoming film that you're shooting in Columbus, Ohio this June. What's Wrong, Wendy? So without any spoilers, why don't you give our listeners a little preview synopsis of that?
Okay, let me try. Okay, so What's Wrong, Wendy is kind of my homage to the movies that I grew up in the early 2000s, Ginger Snaps, and then you get into like the late 2010s, Jennifer's Body. I really love French, extreme kind of movies like High Tension. And so I'm kind of bottling all those movies that I grew up and loving and was so inspired by into a female rage movie of the late 2020s.
All right.
Big fan of
like that. Female rage. I can always get behind that because there's plenty going on around here. No, we like to celebrate being able to express ourselves and not have to bottle it all inside and sit pretty all the time. There's a lot going on. So you guys have this coming up in June. So where are you at in the pre-production process right now? Because you're gonna blink and that's gonna be here. So what's going on in your world with this project, current state?
So right now we're balls deep in pre-production. We just finished casting officially last month, and we locked in all of our locations. Actually, today we locked in our last location.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, location is stressful.
Oh,
Location is so stressful. Um,
Yeah.
and and now we made our goal on Indiegogo, which was $20,000, and we made it yesterday, which was on my birthday, which I thought was an amazing birthday present.
Well,
congrats.
happy birthday,
Yeah, I'm
Spoofy.
Thank
telling
you.
you.
Happy birthday and
Thanks.
congratulations. That's a great milestone. So
Yeah, yeah.
what a nice gift.
Yeah, so we're ending the Indiegogo on June 1st. So if anyone wants any cool stuff, go on there and snag it now because it's all of the perks that were on the Indiegogo are Indiegogo exclusive. So you won't be able to get them anywhere else. And so we just finished, funding and casting and locations, and now we are just finalizing all of the tiny things with the schedule and bringing our actors in, and we're gonna get to shooting in less than a month.
Now, what was the casting process like for you? How did you go about casting this? Did you cast internally for some of the roles? Did you already have people in mind that you were writing to? Did you do a wide release on Actors Access? Were you just, social friendly with it? What is your process for this film?
So I have always cast people that I had either worked with previously or that I knew personally, just because we are so small locally in Columbus that we were keeping it very internal. But for Wendy, I had a lot of expectation. I wrote this script without any limitation, is what it feels like. And I was given the opportunity to kind of put what I wanted on paper. And so I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted in these characters, and I wasn't compromising on many of them. Um, I did internally cast many of the characters. I mean, I wrote a character called Sam Gray for Anthony Dane, who's pretty big in the indie horror these days. And I wrote a character named Arlo for a specific actor originally. And when that didn't work out, was very stressful. Um, because I then had to look at this character with a clean slate and try to reimagine her in the body of all these different actors who I was now getting auditions in from. And like I said, we just finished casting last month and we ended up casting this amazing actor. Her name is Tova. She's really big in the indie horror film these days, or scene these days too. She's big on TikTok and Instagram. And she brought this character, Arlo, to life way better than I could have ever imagined. And it all worked out in the end. Um, but yeah, casting is one of the most stressful and rewarding processes of indie film, hands down.
Oh yeah. Well, the communication in itself is a full-time job, just managing it
Hmm.
all. Reward is getting to see actors in their element and
Yeah.
sharing that part of them with you. Like to me, that's always I love watching other actors, whether it's in class or on stage or if I'm working with them or, just in film in general. I was talking to Rick today that I have this habit of like I'll just focus on the actor and the choices that they're making and obsess over what it is they're doing in the scene instead of just enjoying the film. And I'll have to go back and rewatch it because I'm like, just watch it more objectively. Like don't study the actors like a psycho. But I can't help it because
Oh yeah.
it's so interesting to me that what's up, Jack? You think I'm a psycho, don't you, Mom? My beautiful boy. He plays the Boy from Below, so we love Jack. But yeah, that's just a process in its own. How many self-tapes did you have to go through to finalize these castings, would you think?
It depended on the character. For our lead, Victoria, we saw upwards of 50 auditions that I actually sat down and watched. There were many that didn't follow audition instructions, and so I didn't even watch them because I have to go through so many anyway. If you
Oh, that's
can't
a
follow
typical
instructions, I'm not
casting
even watching.
director choice anyways. Casting directors,
Yeah.
you don't even label the file correctly. 9 times out of 10, the casting director is not looking at it.
Yeah. I need to know that you have comprehension skills if you're going to be on a set because I want it to be
Yeah, fair enough.
I want it to run smoothly, essentially. But yeah, I um, basically wanted to watch as many as I could to get an idea of where the character could go. But like I said, I had really high expectations for these characters that I wrote. For example, the character Victoria has red hair, and I was not compromising on this at all. And we got many, many just really good auditions with people who didn't have red hair. And so I internalized my OCD-ness over this character, and I was like, okay, Spooky, like you can't just make this character redhead, because what if this person is it, you know? So I took everybody into consideration, and then in the 11th hour of the deadline of the audition, we had someone send in their tape, and her name was Allie Bullis, and she got a call back an hour later after she sent in her audition, and she ended up getting it because she was perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
Yeah.
saw probably 50 auditions per character, give or take.
Whew, that's a lot. Rick and I, we're big on internal casting as well, because well, just it's such to manage the casting process in itself is a full-time job. So we're like, do we have time to do it? We'd like to do it, but we just don't have time. And we have such a great pool of actors here in Central Florida, and even people out of state if the project is right, that we're lucky enough to pull from. There's a huge filmmaking community down here, and there's tons of actors and actors classes and actors workshops. So between who Rick knows and who I know and who we worked with and I've trained with, I'm like, let's just, let's pull people in that we know. It just saves so
Hmm.
much time. But sometimes you do have that one character where you're like, I want to see a bunch of people read for this. So
Yeah,
just depends on
yeah.
the project, but very cool. You have some other films that we can talk about. Let's get into Fiber Burn. That's in post-production. That's a collaboration with Street Rat Studios. Dusty Austin, what can you tell everybody about that?
Oh gosh, Fiberburn is a conglomerate of manic midnight caffeine-induced ideas, between
Did you
a
just
core
describe
group of
Rick?
people. Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. It's a shit show, but in like the most in the coolest way, really. It's about a girl. Her name's Becca. She was a former American League rocket racer in a post-apocalyptic world, who was framed and then barred from the league, and she turned to drugs, and her whole life just kind of spiraled. And then one day she found a robot head in a junkyard that she works at in a scrapyard, and she put it together, and it has bad intentions. And then the movie keeps going from there. It's crazy.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like something that I would definitely check out.
Got a
And
couple.
that
Yeah,
is that a feature film?
it is. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very
The
cool.
art that's up right now, that's kind of just artwork that we threw together, where we were we were kind of thinking of ways to like thinking about outside of the box type of ways to bring in different artwork mediums. And so I threw that together, and that piece of artwork right there inspired some of our visual effects that we're going to be doing. So it'll be cool.
You know what that
I love
reminds me
it.
of too? Did you ever see that I don't want to say old, but that movie Tank Girl? It kind of
Oh
reminds
yeah,
me.
we that was a
Oh,
huge
with
inspiration for this film.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lori Petty, yeah, it was
Yes.
huge inspiration.
Yep, there you go.
Yes.
I got
Love
one
her.
other picture from everyone here. There we go. That's
Yeah,
enticing.
This is
yeah,
from Fiberburn as well.
it
Yep,
is. Yeah, that's myself and Athena Mirza, who plays a character called Charlie.
very
There you
cool.
go. Love that shot. And then we have some other things. Haunted House of Pancakes, that's familiar to us. We've had them in one of our earlier issues of the magazine. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you were involved with that. What was your involvement in that film?
I played a character called Tina, and she was a vegan. Did you guys see the film?
No, I was going to ask you when is it
Okay.
available because we did the write up and I
We
haven't heard
haven't seen
anything.
it yet.
No.
I have only seen it once, and it was at a film festival that it premiered
Okay.
at. I saw it at Horror Hound this past March, and it was great. I played Tina. She's a vegan, and she's a real bitch. I never actually played a character that was really mean like that, and it was really fun. So, uh, yeah, it was interesting to kind of play outside of what I'm used to. She's very mean, but she's very smart. She's PhD student, so.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah,
the
we'll have
images
to
I
find out
saw.
when we can watch that. I'd
Yes.
love to see it. It feels like forever ago that we did. Like I said, that was one of our earlier issues of the magazine. I'll have to go back and check that out. But make sure you guys check out Haunted House of Pancakes on socials. That's cool to hear that they're circulating and still doing their thing. Um, and then Grizzly Peak. What do we got going on there?
Yeah, Grizzly Peak is a movie that I was involved in last year, early spring, and I was flown out basically to San Francisco, and we filmed in the the Oakland area in the forest, and it was beautiful. And I got to work with Danny Glover, and that was really fun.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a movie about two girls who go on a date and it doesn't end well, basically.
Most states don't. Now these are all post production. So is that one available for us to see yet? Do we know when it's coming out?
Grizzly Peak is going to be doing its circuit soon, is what I am hearing.
Very cool. Okay. I know
They're
of
being
two
very hush
festivals that
hush.
they can submit to.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah, I will pass that along. Yeah, yeah.
Send it over to us. Yeah, and then The Boy from Below, which is how I know you. So, you had a really significant role in Boy from Below, and unfortunately, we were never the same place, the same time, the same date. So I never got to see you or say hello. But just knowing you through the grapevine, we featured you in the magazine. I just saw, this chick out here hustling, working her ass off, and doing her thing, and that's what I want to promote, in this industry, because I want to make sure that the ladies get the recognition that they get. Rick is a huge supporter of that as well. So it was important for me to follow up with you and get you on the podcast too, to catch everybody up on what it is that you have going on. So again, with no spoilers, can you tell us a little bit about your character in The Boy from Below?
Yeah, Boy from Below is a film about basically it's a slasher, right? And it's based in the 90s, and it's about a B-movie scream queen played by someone we know. And she I don't wait, how much can we say? Um, I don't know the rules. Uh well, it's based off of BBB Scream Queen, who has a son, played by Jack Norman, who is just popping up here. And eventually, Jack Norman's character stalks me and my friends. My character's name is Quinn, and she is a horror movie IQ nerd. She is obsessed with horror, so she kind of knows the rules, and her and her friends kind of put those rules to the test and try to survive a slasher.
There you go. It's fun. I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to hit the film festival circuit here soon.
Mhm.
And there's some movies within a movie, which is how, Marilyn Lee Miller, the character I got to play, was involved in. But I've heard a lot of great things from behind the scenes about, this, finally coming into fruition and coming out. We just had Cody on. He had great things to say. So very excited to finally be able to see that with you guys. Whenever the premiere is, count me in. Hope to see you there. Just gonna fly out and hang out and check out a horror slasher we did back in March of last year. It's hard to believe that it's already been over a year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I know. I just got some videos on my phone. My phone like organizes albums now because Meta or Apple is being weird, and I just have a whole Danville, Kentucky album now.
Hey, Lewis. Yeah, I know. Danville, Kentucky was we were just talking about that. It was fun, but I don't know that I want to go back. Just because you're in the
Yeah,
middle of nowhere. So it's hard to get a ride there. It's hard to get a ride back because you're flying into, I think I flew into Louisville and then barely got a ride out to the house that was rented and then barely got a ride back. It's just dead. It's
it's in the
not,
middle of nowhere. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I've never been that far out. And it's like, hey, can somebody take me to the airport?
yeah,
But
yeah.
it was worth it. I will say that. Had a great time on set filming with everybody. So, like I said, very excited about this film. So you said the Indiegogo is going through June 1st. Tell us about that process, because we have a lot of filmmakers who watch the show regularly, or maybe it's their first time, and Indiegogo gets thrown around a lot. And you see
Mhm.
Indiegogos that do well, and you see Indiegogos that don't do well. What is that process like for you? How big of a job is it? And what advice can you give to anyone who is considering fundraising, through crowdfunding for their film?
Indiegogo is a beast. It
Yeah.
is um, one of it definitely taught me a lot as a filmmaker, and it taught me a lot on the marketing side and how to promote myself, because that's basically what I was doing, because I had to convince people to see worth in my art, and that's really
Yeah.
hard. And you have to basically I was making posts and boosting them for $15 just so my mom would see it, because like the algorithm is so wild. And
Hmm.
it really makes a difference. I mean, you have to spend money to make money. That is the general rule. So I was boosting, Instagram posts promoting it, and that was really generating a lot of audience. But what it comes down to is your artwork and the perks that you're offering. I have been in the industry long enough and supported enough Indiegogos that I can see where someone has gone wrong. And a lot of times it's in the artwork. It's a lot of what you're presenting in the Indiegogo. Because when you scroll in an Indiegogo, it's basically like an Excel, or like not an Excel. It's basically like a presentation. Um,
Yeah, it's like
and
a little mini
it's
pitch deck.
it's a pitch deck, exactly. And I my Indiegogo for Wendy has gone through so many iterations because I was learning as I was doing it. So if you were to look at the first page Indiegogo Wendy that I released in July of 2024, and then you brought up the one from today, it's completely different. Because by the time I was getting momentum, I was realizing that my artwork just wasn't selling. So I had to really step up my game, and that's what's going to get you way more of an audience, because it's the attention span of the audience that you're really trying to capture. And these days,
Makes
someone's
sense.
attention span is about 20 seconds. So
Yeah.
if they go to your Indiegogo and they don't like what they see, they're not going to donate.
That's like anything though. That makes complete sense. Like if, we're all consumers, it's what you
Mhm.
see, the ads that you see, whatever it is in your algorithm, whatever it is that you're, say you're searching something, you're going to go where your eyes go. So that makes complete sense. But mad props to you for managing that aspect of funding. It is, Rick knows I'm terrified to do anything with it because I'm like, it's going to be a full-time job and we have 20 full-time jobs already.
Yeah.
But I know that it can bring in some really nice revenue that really takes a lot of stress off of the filmmaker, and that allows you to you know take care of the project and have those extra funds for post production and for your marketing and for the film festivals, and not stress like, okay, I paid my cast, I paid my crew, I paid the composer, I've we have the editor, we're whatever it is that you got to do, your ADR and all that stuff, and then you don't have to reach back deep down into your pocket
Hmm.
looking for change to actually promote this thing, so that you can stick on a timeline that's realistic for you, so it doesn't just drag along. So there's a lot of benefits to it, but I know that it is a lot of hard work. I always like to ask the people who are running it, like, how's it going? Because I just, it's a lot to manage on top of, managing the schedule and casting and
Hmm.
creating, working with your DP and getting the shot list and the day-to-day schedule. It's just, there's so much going on, and people don't realize that funding is usually the hardest part of a filmmaker's journey when it comes to creating a new project, because if the money's not there, you're not going to make it. I mean, even if it's your friends, like, you want to pay them. People
Hmm.
are bringing their art to the table. They're giving you something. You want to take care of those people and take care of them well. So thank you for sharing your Indiegogo experience with us.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, I mean, while the financing part of the Indiegogo, I mean, with like the taxes, like that's all very stressful. Managing like, the perks and the artwork, that's all very stressful. But I will say it is so embarrassing for every day to have to go on social media and be like, please give me $20. You
It's a
sell
lot,
your
and you're
soul.
yeah, you have to swallow your pride and
Yeah.
just yeah. I have a I'm not against it. I like, for me personally, I just I'm afraid to manage something so big. But that's just me. I've seen it work out well for so many people. I mean, you set a $20,000 goal. That's incredible. That gives you a lot to work with on the back end. So I think that's
Yeah.
amazing. We've seen films funded for 100,000 and 250,000. It's like, what?
I know.
Who is sending all those perks? Who is
Yeah.
emailing everybody? What? Like, does anybody sleep? No, nobody is sleeping. But it is an avenue to funding. And sometimes that's just the way you got to go if you want to get it done. And there's nothing wrong with it. So if you got to get out there and push it on socials, guess what? Tag the junkies in it and we're going to forward it again. So, that's the great thing about it's like I have a love hate relationship with socials. Rick knows this as well. Like, you have to constantly be posting. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, I don't want to look at social media anymore, but you have to. Like for us as filmmakers, social media is almost like LinkedIn. Like it is how we
Mhm.
connect. It is how we communicate. It's how we know what the hell is going on in the industry. You're forced into it. You don't have a choice. If you're going to be in this industry as far as an indie artist, you have to take hold of every resource that you have. So you know what? We're logging in every day, aren't we? And if we got to go to Indiegogo and we got to share it 100 times, guess what? I got my movie funded.
Exactly.
Just do what you got to do. But the great thing is that as much as you have to push it, there's a market for it. That's why Indiegogo exists. People want to go on and they want to support independent artists and they want to feel like they're a part of something, whether they're in the industry themselves or whether they just, they want to be or they can't be or they don't know how to be, but maybe they're following your work. Maybe they've seen another film and it's a way for them to support and be a part of your journey and a part of whatever it is that they're supporting. So, there's lots of pros, lots of cons, but I mean, 20,000, come on, how can you complain about that? That's pretty damn
Yeah.
good, girl. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah. It took almost a year to get. And I guess from the eyes of Indiegogo, or an indie filmmaker who does Indiegogo, that's on the smaller side. But the
Which is crazy,
Indiegogo,
right? It's 20
I
grand,
know, I
you know?
know. Yeah, but that Indiegogo plus like the script that I wrote and the networking that I was able to be a part of because of this movie, I was funded on the back end, and then that Indiegogo was then I was able to focus my time on maintaining the hype and the relevance of the film rather than realizing that I might not be able to make it if I don't make 20,000.
Yes.
So that's why artwork is so
Yes.
important, because I like my stuff is what funded me because I was promoting it and it looked good.
There you go.
Very
Well, you
cool.
got to let us know when you're in the phase of marketing and wanting to push this project because we want to support it. So we have this fun little thing called a magazine, and we would love to do an article and follow up on that, or maybe bring some of the cast and crew back on the show. And you guys, whenever you hit that marketing phase, let the junkies help push it out there. But yeah, if you ever have anything that you need, and you're good at that. When you did your casting, you're like, hey, can you forward this? I'm like, yeah, okay, forward, story, go. Like you have people that know you and want to support you. There's nothing wrong with asking for support. Like that's what this community is all
Yeah.
about, and that's what we love about it, and that's why we love this platform we've created, because it connects all of us.
Yeah.
Like somebody's gonna be watching tonight, hopefully, that doesn't know who you are, but they love what you're saying, and they hop on your Indiegogo. It's just one more avenue to support each other. So
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
cool. As far as some of your horror film inspirations, you named a couple.
Mhm.
I love that you said Jennifer's Body, because that one's always just going to be a fun watch.
Oh yeah.
But what are some of and it doesn't have to be your absolute favorite, your all-time favorite, because there's so many. It's hard to pick. When people ask me this, I'm like, I hate you don't ask me what my favorite is because I have so many. What are some of your favorite horror films that inspired you, first of all, just to get into acting?
Silent Hill, that was a huge inspiration to me. Rhoda Mitchell is the actress who plays the mother in Silent Hill, and I just remember being in seventh grade when that movie came out and studying it like it was the Bible. And it
Oh,
was terrifying. It's a freaking terrifying movie. And I
it
would
is.
sit there, I would just sit there and
Fun one.
I would study all these facial expressions. And that one was a big inspiration for me as an actor. Another one is Stay Alive, which is about a video game that basically kills people if you die in the game. And Sophia Bush is one of the main characters in that. And I've always been a fan of hers from One Tree Hill. So when she did a horror movie, it felt like fate. And yeah, I think I'm really into the movies that were like remakes, like American remakes, like Pulse. Pulse was dope. That movie hit when I was younger. Okay, like that was a movie that inspired me to make a movie that I have written. It's called Mimic, that I'm actually planning to make hopefully next year. So
Hmm. Very cool.
And then how did you get into acting? When did you get into acting? And then when did it just kind of launch for you? Because I feel like you've hit a place where, you know, people know who you are on the indie scene. Was there like one film that really kind of got you out there? But what was your journey to this point, just as an actress? I know that you do other things, but as an actress, what got you here?
I started in theater when I was very young. My grandfather was a part of something called the Licking County Players in Newark, Ohio, and I was really inspired by him, and all the characters that he did. And then when I was an adult, I realized that um, being on stage is scary. So I got some weird bout of stage fright, and it never went away. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do it on camera. So I started film acting when I was in my early 20s out in LA. I didn't like the scene out there, so I came back here and did it. And I think it was 2022 that I did a film called Phantom Fun World. And that
Yeah.
that movie kind of opened my eyes to the indie horror scene, and I made a lot of friends on that set that I'm still really good friends with today. And um, I don't know if that's the movie that I would say put me on the map. I honestly think Rabbit Season is what did it. I don't know, something after Rabbit Season, like my name was all of a sudden everywhere, and that's a short film, and I didn't expect that to do very well. Honestly, I wrote it because I was bored, and then we shot it, and then it was really, really cool at the end. So, um, but I think Rabbit Season was what people, I think they liked the character I played. I think they liked Bunny and like the makeup and the rabbit suit that I had on. I know Lewis, he's someone who really is very supportive of indie film. And
Shout out
he,
Louis C. Gallegos, one of our
yes,
friends.
Lewis. Um,
Such a huge supporter of indie horror
oh my
films, indie
gosh.
horror artists, a huge, you know, support. Hey, Lewis, a huge supporter of our brand, Indie Horror Junkie. And, you know, like, what more can you ask for? And he's
Yeah.
such a lover of horror and the community. And yeah, shout out to you, Lewis. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And he supported me enough that like, and I'll say this, it takes one person. Lewis was so supportive over Rabbit Season that it was inspiring enough to then put the thought in my mind of, well, well, if this one person likes what I'm doing, then there's got to be like five more. There's got to be like 20
There you
more,
go.
right? Like I might be doing something right. I might be doing something right. So it really just takes one person to inspire, and that was Lewis with Rabbit Season. But I think his support made me it inspired me to be more involved in the indie community. And then I was going to festivals and networking there, and then Haunted House of Pancakes and Boy from Below and all of these things that I was acting in, I think is what's finally putting my name out there. I'm not really that well known, I don't think. But
I think if you're in the indie scene, you know, I watched Phantom Fun World before I knew who you were. And
mm,
then whenever I got cast for Boy, I was like, wait, I know some of these people. I've watched these films, you know, like Jace, who I knew from that film. I'm like, I get to play his mom. What? Like,
yeah,
it's so fun, you know, because we like to, you know, we watch lots of indie films, especially with the film festivals and the involvement that we have there. And you know, like I said, socials, I'm able to keep such a close eye. We can all keep a close eye of what's going on. And you follow
yeah,
one artist and it leads you to their project and it leads you to new artists. You know, if I like what I see, I click and I follow, and then I follow that artist. And so it was funny because I kind of knew who some of you guys were through the grapevine already. And then I'm like, oh, they're gonna be in this film. That's really cool. I saw them in this, I saw them in that. So you never know who's watching. Like
it's
when
true.
Rick and I will go, and Rick will meet people at freaking garage sales and they're like, I love indie horror junkie. And Rick calls me, he's like, somebody in a garage sale. So stop.
They're
That's
everywhere.
cool.
You
Yeah, that's
know, or
cool.
I was up at New Jersey HorrorCon, whenever that was. This whole year's been a blur already. I think it was February, or I don't know. And I was there with my buddies, Greasy Boys, promoting our film, The Inn. And but I had a banner for Indie Horror Junkie, of course. Wasn't going to go without that. And people were coming up and they're like, we have been waiting for this movie to come out and we love Indie Horror Junkie. I'm like, how do you guys know like all this stuff? Like, you just don't know who's paying attention. But then I
Yeah,
think about all the people that I pay attention to, I guess because we're so in it, you know? And
Yeah.
I think the people who are in it and who love it and who are just totally tuned in with the horror conventions and the film festival circuit and they're aspiring actors, writers, director, producers, and they're seeing what's going on because they're following like who's playing in the sandbox, what's winning, what's not, you just have to pay attention to everything. And I think there's more people watching than you think. And next
I
thing you
also
know,
Yeah.
think,
garage sale and
yeah, well, the indie horror community is such a loyal
or
community. I mean, we've
Florida.
noticed, yeah, we've seen people here on the podcast. We've met them in person at the festivals and stuff. You meet them at the conventions and everything. So I think that's why one of the main things I love about the indie horror scene so
Yeah.
much is because it's like a family, and these people
Yeah.
love to support. So that's wonderful. So happy for you.
You never know. Look at Howard Hawkins. Howard Hawkins is one of our buddies that we know through the podcast. And he ended up coming on Rick and I's short film, The Turning, that we filmed at the end of last year. And because we didn't do a casting call, but we did a small casting call for zombies. We needed people who were scare actors who could show up to set and have their own makeup done and just be ready to go. And this dude showed up. He looked insane. And there, with the scare actors that were there, I looked at Rick. He was ready. He showed up like that.
Wow.
He showed up. I looked at Rick. I was like, you gotta get a close up of Howard's face and get him in front of somebody because he looks so amazing. He looks sick. And he's like, oh, my daughter did my makeup. And he's just somebody who watches the podcast. God bless him. But he's a fun guy, a
Really
huge
is.
lover of indie horror. He makes props. He's been in other films. And, he's just one of us junkies. He's a regular guy, just likes to have fun and support the community. So you never know who's watching. I'm surprised he hasn't chimed in right now because he's usually here every episode. So I'll give him crap for not watching tonight. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think you just don't know who's watching and paying attention. I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I think we're so busy just in the doing of what we're doing. I think most of us who are serious about what we do and why are just focused on the next task and the next step and what do we need to get done and triaging the work and making sure that we're doing what's right by us and we're doing what's right by the people that we're bringing in and that we're hiring. And it's, project to project, but it's every single day in between. And you just want to do it right. You don't really have time to worry about like who's, watching, but eventually, like I said, you go to a garage sale or show up at the grocery store and oh my God.
She's
But
down
Yeah.
with the garage sale thing. I know it's okay.
that's happened twice.
Yes, I understand.
So,
Wow.
but
Real quick, let's pivot because, like Amy was saying early on, we have a lot of people that are filmmakers and stuff like that, and actors and actresses that watch the show. So we always try to give them some behind the scenes stuff of the process and everything. So I want to ask you about, of course, the new What's Wrong, Wendy. You're getting ready. You said you're filming in June, correct?
Correct.
What is the shooting schedule going to be like? Is it how many days is it going to be? Is it broken up? Give me an idea of what you've got planned for everybody.
We have 12-hour days planned,
Okay.
obviously.
Mhm.
We have 16 on the principal, but most of our actors are only on there for like 12 to 14.
Okay.
A lot of like the extra stuff is me and a skeleton crew, Dusty, the director, and Athena, one of the producers, and Cody, the DP. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I
well, I
had a
mean,
really fun.
you're on the podcast. We're here to toot horns, lady. Toot it.
Okay. So the script that I wrote is insane. Like I said earlier, I was not given a limitation. So I was writing this, it started off as a short film, and then I sent it to a bunch of like trusted colleagues, creatives, and Dusty Austin and Athena Mirza were two of those. And they came back and they were like, okay, but let's make a feature. And I was like, oh shit, now I gotta write 90 pages.
Mhm.
So I had no
Jack's not
idea.
sleeping.
Yeah, I had no idea where this story was going to be. The short film ended very differently, and it's really fun. So we get to play in a graveyard from like sundown to sunup for 4 days out of the out of the big block, and it's a beautiful historic cemetery called Green Lawn Cemetery in Columbus, Ohio, and it's like 357 acres or something crazy like that.
Gosh, we're gonna have to send our buddy Bill Slevin out there. He's a paranormal investigator.
Oh, they've had plenty out there because it's an incredible cemetery. Like the energy is insane when we go there. We filmed one of our films called Best Wishes and Good Luck there. That's a family drama that we did last year. And it was beautiful. It inspired us. It inspired that part of the script for Wendy, that cemetery did. So yeah, we're going to be in a bookstore. We're going to be in a cemetery. We're going to be in a police station that we're building on a soundstage right now. Athena Merce is
Oh my
probably
gosh.
building it right now as we speak. So
Now,
yeah,
are you building this that so that you just had the control that you wanted, or were you not, did you seek to, film that at a physical location, but it just wasn't allowed, or it was too out of budget? What was your decision there?
so for Fiberburn specifically, we built a soundstage. Like I didn't, obviously, I was an actor and director, but they built an amazing apartment set. It was a full apartment, bedroom, kitchen, living room, bathroom. They built this soundstage apartment, and when it came down to Wendy and we're done with Fiberburn, we decided to just strip it, keep its bones, and they're building the police station on the soundstage. And
That's
not
awesome.
only do yeah, not only does it give us complete control over the sound, over the space, but it also eliminates the stress of trying to find a police station or a studio that has a police station setup. And
Well,
it
then you can film
also,
whenever you want, it helps manage the schedule.
exactly.
And
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And our carpentry goddesses, Reina Merzda and Athena Merzda and Gracie Becker, who's my AC on Wendy, they're gonna build this thing. I've sent them reference photos and they're like, okay, got it. And they're just gonna build it. Like my team for Wendy is like out of pocket. Like it's crazy.
but
Awesome.
it sounds like so much fun.
I
You're
know. I'm
absolutely
so
right.
excited.
You're absolutely
So
right
much
though with
fun.
the soundstage because you control everything. You don't have to worry about people
Yeah.
walking by.
hmm
You don't have to worry about anything like that. So I mean that's awesome that you have that opportunity.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's because there was space, obviously. It's being built in this ginormous garage in a suburban neighborhood where the neighbors are none the wiser of what's going on. Like it's so fun. The
Smile and wave
the exactly, and they have no idea like we're like killing people in the garage. It's fine.
until they hear it. Now,
hmm
what is the scene as far as like the filmmaker scene where you live? Is there, a good like pool of people for actors and crew that you have access to? Is it not like that? You just know who you know. And do you guys have a film incentive there? What does that look like? Because we don't have crap for film incentive down here. We have some in certain cities, like Sarasota, and then I think over in St. Pete they have a little bit of a film incentive, but it's just non-existent here. It has been for years. We're hoping that will change. But what is that like for you guys out there?
Columbus has a ginormous film community.
Awesome.
We have, I mean, Columbus is right next to Kentucky, which is another big film hub. We've got Cincinnati, we've got Cleveland and Columbus and Lexington. Ohio specifically does have a film incentive. I'm not sure what the percentages are, but it's really good from what I hear. And the state is incredibly supportive of film. And I
Oh,
think that
nice.
yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's giving jobs to locals.
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
I know, right? I mean, already being in the film industry and looking for work is stressful enough. But to have a film incentive that ensures Ohio film crew to have work is amazing. Um, and
Seriously.
and while we have, I would say, corporate Hollywood here, like they just did Superman up in Cleveland.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
I think it was Cleveland. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But Superman was just in town. So while we do have like corporate Hollywood movies and film coming, the indie film community is insane here. I mean, my peers are so incredibly talented. I mean, I could name 25 right now that I wish I could work with, but
Yeah.
but like they're like twice removed. Like I'm just like trying to collect all these Pokemon because there's so many gems.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's how we feel in Central Florida. And then they'll have a big production come in from out of state and they bring the crew with them. It's like,
Yeah.
what? There's so
Yeah.
much talent here. Like give the community jobs. But you know what? At the same time, guess who Rick and I call? Those people that are so talented. We're like, hey, come over here and hop on this production. And we have been so lucky with, finding amazing DPs and sound, and just the talent pool is crazy. Like have your pick. But it's like when you find those people that you just love working with, and the camaraderie is there and the respect is there. And you can just pick up the phone and call them. But those are the people who should be getting these bigger jobs in the industry, because they are that good, and it's just getting slept on down here in Florida. So wake up, Florida.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, I know a lot of Floridians who are filmmakers. That's insane that you guys don't have a film incentive.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. There's that.
Do it. We just work twice as hard getting that money.
I mean, when you
yeah.
talk about the big Hollywood stuff, they had that movie. What was it, by Ben Affleck? We Live the Night or something like that. I think it's called, or whatever.
Mhm.
The movie is about Ybor City, which is here, and they went and built Ybor City in Georgia because there's no tax incentives here. So all that work and all that money went to Georgia, and it's like, what? I mean, like you said, I mean, that puts cast, crew, everybody else to work. It offers locations, everything else. To me, it's just like you're throwing money away by getting people to go elsewhere when they wanted to film here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
it's a real
crazy thing
shame.
about Florida is it has everything. I mean, minus mountains. There are no mountains or hills here. It's just not going to happen.
I
But
mean,
you have the beach, you have the country, you have the city, you have,
Mhm.
like everything here. Just look around. There's so much. There's so much life, but Florida and all.
yeah. Are you making any appearances at any cons or any film festivals coming up that you know about? I wanted to ask you that before I forget.
They are coming up probably next year. I tried to get a convention agent, but I'm not anyone special yet. So they were like, hit us up next year. So I don't want to do conventions unless it's organized for me because that seems very stressful. So I will wait until that is organized for me to get an appearance.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but if you have your films in some of these film festivals and like you're headed out to watch it, let them know. Like, okay, for example, our film festival that we have in Orlando, if we know that a filmmaker is coming, we try to accommodate that. Like,
Sure.
hey,
Yeah.
like, like, do you guys have merch you want to bring? And, come
Yeah.
put it at the table and come be interactive. Like, you just, sometimes it
Set up
really
a
is just
panel.
asking, like, hey, like my film is accepted and I'm coming. Can I have a presence there? Can I do a Q&A? I would definitely
Mhm.
recommend you asking, can I have, after you show my film, can I have maybe 20 to 30 minutes within the schedule, if that's allowed, to do a Q&A? Rick and I love to do that. If we know the filmmaker is going to be there, we try so hard to squeeze in those Q&As, because like you made the movie, you spent the money, you're there,
Yeah.
you showed up, like, let's talk to these filmmakers. That, like, why
Yeah.
not? Is that what we're here for? Aren't we here to network and to just get the most out of every aspect of what the hell it is that we're doing? Like, you've already given so much. So don't be afraid when you go to festivals where you have a film and say, hey, I'm coming. Can I get a
Yeah.
panel? Can I
That's
get
what
a
we tried to do with
Q&A?
our film, because I think Amy and I, since we are filmmakers ourselves, we try to accommodate those filmmakers. We try to do things that are going to help them spread the word about their films, whether it's giving them panels, giving them Q&As, setting up a merch table for them. We
Yeah.
also, for our film festival, we sent back feedback cards for all the movies that
Yes.
were accepted. Yeah, you saw yours, right? To me,
Yeah.
that's important. I mean, nobody else does that, but we're filmmakers, and we tried to put our film festival together saying, what would we like to have? What would, and do that and provide that. And I think we've gotten a lot of comments from filmmakers that just love just getting that back, because it tells them that not only does it show you that we watched your movie, but we give you, constructive feedback on what our thoughts were about it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
We're always welcome down here at the Junkies.
absolutely, love
Thanks.
to have you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like
I
Memphis in Florida.
I love Florida. I would definitely come. I mean, once Wendy is made, I'm submitting, so you'll be
There you
seeing
go.
it
It's
somewhere.
hard. It's a commitment to get to all these places where your film goes, because it's hotel, it's airfare,
Mhm.
it's everything, all the expenses. I'm going to Jersey in 2 weeks, and I'm like, here we go again.
Mhm.
This time I gotta check a bag because I gotta take all my crap, like the posters and the magazines. And I'm like, I'm in my house. Like, that's why I packed already, because I'm weighing everything out. Like, I put
Oh
half the
yeah.
magazines here and half the magazines there, because God forbid I go over 50 pounds, they charge me another $100, and I'm pissed I didn't ship it. So And then you
Yep.
can't ship it because you don't know if it's going to get there. Then if it gets there, is it going to get lost? It's a whole thing. So it's like, but yeah, always welcome down here at the Junkies. Why not? So, but yeah, it's going to be fun to watch you kind of go through the process of making this film. You've got a great presence on socials. You've got Instagram, The Goodbye Ghoul, Final Ghoul Films. You're on YouTube. What can people find on your YouTube channel if they want to? I know they can check out Rabbit Season. What else can they check out on your YouTube channel?
All the short films that I've made are currently on YouTube. And then on May 16th, I have the premiere of my latest short film called Sonder. It's not a horror, but that was a part of a film festival competition called Winter Film that takes place at Cincinnati here in Ohio.
Very cool.
And that premieres on Saturday. And then on the 16th, I'm just going to release it on YouTube. So on my YouTube, Final Goal Films has all my short films, even the ones I'm not proud of, because I like to see the growth.
Yep.
A lot of people are like, why
Yeah.
would you keep that? A lot of people are like, why would you keep that on there? And I was like, because look how shit I was and look how cool I am now. Okay. That growth,
Yeah.
you see that growth? Yeah.
See? I mean, that's great though. I mean, kudos to you for that because it's so true. Like we all start somewhere and they say you're as good as your last film. So as long as you're striving to hit that next milestone and
Yeah.
that next goal, then like, yeah, it is cool to go back. And it's like watching old audition tapes. I'll go back and watch old self tapes. I'm like, oh girl,
Yes.
so good.
Mhm.
And it's not
Yeah.
that it wasn't, good. It's just you see that growth and the work that you've put in and you're like, all right, everything I've been doing, it makes sense. It makes sense in the journey that we're all on. So,
Well, one of
Rick,
my
I'm sure you can attest to that. You've been at this,
oh yeah.
20 years, if not longer. It's,
Well, I was going to say one of the first books I ever read was a book called Rebel Without a Crew, written by Robert Rodriguez, and he mentions that in there. He said you need to be able to go back and look at your first film that you made, and then look at your latest film. If you don't see an arc of growth or whatever it is, it's just a hobby. So that's exactly what you mentioned right there. So well done for you.
and you're so close to it that you don't always, you feel like you're working so hard. And then until you go back and look from where you came from, you're like, there was tremendous, tremendous work and growth to get here. And then you're like, yeah, you did it, girl.
Well, I know
Yep.
you gotta take off here. So is there anything that you'd like to get out there before you leave? Where can people find you? Any information you want to pass along for anybody?
Yeah. You can follow me on socials. My personal Instagram is The Goodbye Ghoul. My business Instagram is Final Ghoul Films. YouTube is Final Ghoul Films. And check out the What's Wrong Wendy Indiegogo, which closes on June 1st. The link is all over my social media, so you can't miss it. And yeah, support indie film.
Well,
There
the
we
two titles I was going to say that I absolutely love that you got is that Final Ghoul Films. I love this because it's a great ring. But also at the end of that Rabbit Season trailer, a spooky Madison adventure. That is just such a cool little tag. I love that.
So fun.
Thank you. Thank you so
Very
much.
cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time out of your day, hanging out with the Junkies, all of our viewers. We're going to kick you back to the green room one more time, but don't leave. Give you a nice little junkie goodbye once we go off air. But thanks so much. Make sure you guys follow our girl Spooky on socials, see what she's doing. Check out her stuff on YouTube, and we'll bring you back again sometime.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you
Spooky.
so much for having me.
You got it.
Talk to you in a sec.
All right.
Thank you.
Another
Okay.
show down. So much we went over tonight. We were just talking about the podcast is every single week. There's so much information coming in, but that's what it's all about. And so important and so relevant. There's so many people in the indie scene that are working incredibly hard. And, we're honored to give, artists this platform to come on and talk about their films. So if you want to support our artists and if you want to support the Junkies, head on over to YouTube, like and subscribe, keep us going. Check out some of the previous episodes. Thank you, Lewis. And if you're new to us, definitely go back and check out some of the other artists that we've had on, writers, directors, producers, musicians, comic book artists. And if you got a project that you want promoted in the indie horror scene, hit us up on socials, hit us up on our Gmail, indiehorrorjunkie@gmail.com. But thank you for joining us again. We will see you next week. Have a good night, Junkies.
Have a good night.